Hello, today we're going to work on the long vowel silent E pattern, I consonant E. I consonant E says I like bike. Throughout today's activities, it may be helpful to have a piece of paper and pencil so that you can do some of the activities along with me. Throughout this video, there will be several places where you could choose to pause if you would like and come back later or at another day. If you would rather just work through the whole thing in one sitting, that's fine too. Let's go ahead and get started and think about some of the sounds and words. Please give me a thumbs up if a word that I say has a long I sound like bike. Give me a thumbs down if the word has a short I sound like pig. So the first word is kite. When you stretch the sounds, k, I, t, it has I like bike, so it would be a thumbs up. What about kit? Kit says I like pig, so that's a thumbs down. What about lick? Lick says I like pig, that's a thumbs down. What about like? Like says I like bike. What about stripe? Stripe says I like bike. S, t, I, p, thumbs up. What about spine? Spine says I like bike. What about spin? That's a thumbs down. Spin says I like pig. What about quite? Quite says I like bike. What about quit? Quit says I like pig. What about time? Time says I like bike. What about high? High says I like bike. Now I want you to know something about the word high. High is the only word that I gave you where that long I is the last sound in the word. I. There wasn't a consonant following after that. So high isn't actually going to follow our long vowel silent E pattern or vowel consonant E pattern because it doesn't have that consonant sound, but it does have the long I sound. So I really want you to listen carefully for if a word has a long I sound and if it has a consonant following it. So in time, t, I, the I is in the middle of the word and the consonant comes after. I'll show you how that looks when we spell some words. So today, like I said, we're working on the I consonant E pattern. This produces two sounds where that E actually changes that I sound so it has the long I sound. So there's going to be two sounds. You'll hear the I and you'll hear the consonant that comes at the end of the word. And we put that E kind of tucked in that box here because you don't hear the E sound. The E is just working to make the I say its name, say that long I sound. Let me show you how it looks if I try to write a word that has this pattern. Let's take the word dime. I stretch the sounds, d, I, This follows our pattern. It has the long I sound, and that long I sound is followed by a consonant sound. I'll show you how you can write it. The first sound is d. It's spelled with a D. The next sound is I. It's our long I sound, which is spelled with an I. The last sound is That's the consonant M. Now, in order for that I to say the long I sound, I need to have that silent E tucked in there as well. So dime is spelled D-I-M-E. And that E doesn't make a sound, it just works on that I to make that long I sound. Sometimes I like to even draw this little connector so that you can see how the two are working together. That E is making the I say its name. Let me show you another word that doesn't follow our pattern. Say we have the word dim. I stretch the sounds, d, I, It still has three sounds, but that vowel sound was I. It's the thumbs down short sound, the short sound like pig. So I color-coded these boxes in pink or in red so that you know it does not follow our pattern because it does not have the long I sound. When I write the word dim, d is still spelled with a D, I is still spelled with an I, is still spelled with an M. What's different is you notice it doesn't have that silent E because that E would make that I say its name. Since this is the short sound, it's just spelled D-I-M. This does not follow our pattern because it does not have the long I sound. Do a word with me. Say the word fine. What's the word? Fine. Stretch the sounds with me. I, n. Does it have the long I sound like bike? Yep. And is there a consonant after it? I, n. Yep, that N sound follows afterwards. The first sound was, how do you spell it? F. The next sound is I. How do you spell it? I. The last sound is N. How do you spell it? N. Now what else do we need in order to make that I say the long vowel sound? You're right, we need that silent E because that I and E is working together to make the long I sound. Fine is spelled F-I-N-E. Let's try another one together. The word is smile. Repeat. Smile. Stretch the sounds with me. S, m, I, o. Does it have a long I sound? Yep. And is that I followed by a consonant? Yep, it's followed by that o sound. Let's figure out how to write that word. Stretch it again. S, m, I, o. First sound was S, spelled S. Second sound is M, spelled M. The next sound is I, our long I sound, spelled with a I. The last consonant sound is U, spelled with a L. And we tack on that silent E because remember that E is making the I say the long I sound. Smile is written S-M-I-L-E. Okay, we have 3 more words. This would be a great time for you to go ahead and get your pencil and your paper out. I'll give you the word and I want you to try stretching the sounds and writing it. The first word is ride. What's the word? Ride. Go ahead and stretch it and write the sounds. Double check. Did it say the long I sound? And does your spelling have the long I sound? Okay, let's check your word. Stretch the sounds with me. R, I, D. Long I followed by a consonant. It follows our vowel consonant E pattern. First sound was R, spelled with an R. Second sound is I, long I sound, followed by consonant D, D. In order to make that I say the long I sound, I make sure that I have that silent E to make that I have the long vowel sound. We have the vowel consonant E sound, the long I, and silent E. Good job. Let's try another one. The word is spike. What's the word? Spike. Go ahead and sound it out and write it down. Listen carefully. Does it have the long I sound or short I sound? Spike. Let's check how you wrote it. Spike has the sounds S, P, I, K. We're going to use all the boxes this time. S is spelled with an S. P is spelled with a P. I is our long vowel sound, I. K is the last consonant. Because it has the long I sound followed by a consonant, remember we have that silent E. This follows our pattern of the long vowel silent E, vowel consonant E. Spike is spelled S-P-I-K-E. Great job. We have one last word to do right now. Let's go ahead and do the word lime. What's the word? Lime. Go ahead and stretch it and write it. Okay, let's go ahead and check how you did. The first sound in lime is L, spelled with an L. The next sound is I, the long I sound. The last sound is This follows our pattern. Long I followed by a consonant. So I know in order to make that long vowel sound followed by a consonant that I tuck that silent E in there. The two are working together, so it follows that vowel consonant E pattern, the long I, silent E. Nice job. So you can see how listening to the sounds in words and knowing this pattern can help you to write words. It can also help you to read words. I want to show you how you can look for specific patterns in words in order to be able to read them. Let's take this first word, S-I-T-E. Right away, what I notice is it has an I followed by a consonant and then an E. This follows our pattern, so I'm going to assume that this is going to have the long I sound and that this E is not going to say anything at all. To help show that, I can put the T and the E together into a single box to show that there's only one sound, just the T sound. I also know that the I is going to have its own sound, the long I sound, and then I know that the S is going to have its own sound, the S sound. Now I can use this to help me to realize there's three sounds in this word, and the sounds are S, I, T, sight. So by looking for this pattern, it helps me to be able to read that word. Let's do this next word together. Do you notice any letters that are going to work together to make a single sound? You probably noticed that it has that pattern we've been working on, a vowel, consonant, E. That means this I and the E are going to work together to make the long I sound. It also means that that E is not going to make a sound, it's going to be silent. So I'm going to put the E and the N together into a box so I realize it's just going to be the N making the sound. The I is going to make a sound on its own and it's going to be that long I sound, and the N is going to make the sound N. I can use this to help me to realize there are three sounds in this word and that this vowel is the long I sound. I can read the word as N, I, N, 9. Let's try this next one together. Do you notice any letters that work together to make a single sound? Hopefully you noticed it follows our pattern. There's an I, consonant, E. So that E won't make a sound. Instead, it's going to make the I say the long vowel sound. To help me to remember that that E doesn't make a sound, I can put it in the same sound box as the N so I realize just the N is making a sound. You may have also noticed that we have a digraph in this word. The SH is going to work together to make a single sound, sh. The only other sound we have in this word is that long I sound. So there's three sounds in this word as well. It says sh, I, n, shine. I want you to try these next three words on your own. You're going to copy them down on your notebook paper, and then you're going to draw your sound boxes around them so you can see how many sounds are in those words. Where are there letters that are working together to make a single sound? It may be helpful for you to pause the video so you have time to copy down the words and to do your work. When you're ready to check your work, go ahead and hit play and we can go over the words together. See you in a bit. Okay, did you get them written down and figure out where the sounds are? Let's check your work with me together. So right away in this word, I notice that it has the vowel consonant E pattern, which makes me know that that E is going to be silent and it's going to make the I have the long I sound. Because the E is silent, I want to remember that it is just the D that's going to make a sound here. I know that the I is going to make a sound, and it's going to be the long vowel sound because it follows our vowel consonant E pattern. And I know that the S is going to make a sound. So altogether, there's three sounds in this word. S, I, D, side. In the next word, you probably notice the same pattern where we have the vowel consonant E. So it's going to be a long I sound. And then in the end, we're going to have the N and the E together in a box because that E doesn't make a sound. It's just the N making the N sound. This word also has a digraph where that WH makes the H sound. When I read this word, I see three sounds, ein, whine. In this last word, it may have been tricky for you to find our pattern. That's because this word has a suffix on it. Sometimes words can be hard to find their patterns when you have ed, S or ing on the end. And this has that ed ending on the end, which makes it really hard to be able to figure out where that pattern is. We still know, though, if we were to ignore this D, that we would have our vowel consonant E pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and connect our I and our E because in the root word of T-I-M-E, it does have that vowel consonant E pattern. I'm going to go ahead and put one sound box around the M and the E because that E is working with that M, or the E is working to make the I have a long vowel sound, and it's not going to make its own sound. I'm going to have a box around the I because of that long I sound, and a box around the T because it makes the T sound. I'm also going to put a box around the D at the end. Now this is kind of a tricky one because the ED is working together for meaning, but really the E is working with the I to make the sound. If you have your boxes drawn just a little bit different than me, that's okay. What I really want you to see, though, is that even though we added this suffix at the end, we still have our root word here that follows our pattern. So when I look at just the root word, t, I, I'm talking about the word time. I added that ed ending, so this word altogether is t, I, d, timed. Like when you run a race and your gym teacher timed you, that's that word. It's okay if that one was hard for you. It's hard for me sometimes too. But I wanted you to see an example so that you realize sometimes words are going to follow our pattern, but they're going to have an ed, an s, or an ing at the end that could make it hard for us to find that pattern. So I just wanted you to have an example of that. That was some heavy thinking. If you would like to take a break, now would be a great time to take a break. You could come back later or on another day. If you want to stick with me a little bit longer, we can go ahead and move on to the next activity. Our next activity is to go ahead and just practice reading some words with greater automaticity. So I want you to take a second and look through these words. Notice how a lot of them have our pattern, I consonant E, I consonant E, I consonant E, so on and so forth. But they don't all have our pattern. I skipped over this one because it has an I, a consonant, but no E. So I want you to take a second and find those vowel consonant E's and think about what sound that makes. This one will say I, 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 no E, I. Go ahead and practice reading these words. You may need to pause the video. Once you've practiced them once or twice, you can start the video again and we'll read them together. See you soon. Okay, did you practice? Let's go ahead and read them together. Words are pile, mic, dim, dime, stripe, slid, spike, slide. Notice dim and slid have the short I sound because they don't have that silent E at the end. Pile, mic, dime, stripe, spike, and slide all have I like bike because they have that silent E at the end. Let's read them one more time. Pile, mic, dim, dime, stripe, slid, spike, slide. Nice job. We can also go ahead and practice writing those words without the help of the sound boxes. I'm going to say a word. I want you to stretch the sounds and then try to spell that word using all that you know about those sounds. If you hear the long I sound followed by a consonant, make sure to use our vowel consonant E pattern. If it does not have the long I sound, then make sure to spell it with the short vowel pattern. Your first word is bike. Make sure to grab your paper if that's helpful for you writing your words. Bike. Let's check your spelling. Bike is spelled B, I, long I, so I remember this word will have an E at the end. K, followed by a consonant K and the silent E. This follows our pattern, vowel consonant E, because it has the long I sound followed by a consonant. Let's try another one. Hid. Listen carefully. Does it have the long I sound or not? Hid. Hid does not have the long I sound. Id. Because it does not have that long I sound, this word will not be spelled with an E, a silent E at the end. Hid is spelled H-I-I-D. That follows the closed syllable, one vowel followed by a consonant, so it has the short sound. Did I trick you on that one, or did you catch that? Let's try another word. Smile. Stretch the sounds. Does it have a long I sound followed by a consonant? Smile. Let's check your spelling. Smile has the sounds S, M, I, O. That follows our pattern. There's an I followed by O, the consonant sound. So I know it's going to be a vowel consonant E. Smile is spelled S, S, M, M, I, O, L, E. This follows our pattern, vowel consonant E, because it said the long I sound, I, followed by a consonant sound, O. Nice job. The next word is like. Stretch the sounds and write it. Like. Look carefully at your word. Are you spelling it so it has the correct vowel sound? Long sound or short sound? Okay, let's check it. Like is spelled, or has the sounds O, I, K. That follows our pattern. Long I followed by a consonant. It's spelled O, L, I, K, K. And a silent E at the end because it follows that pattern of vowel, consonant, E. That E makes the I say I, and then it follows with the consonant sound K, O, I, K, like. Nice job. Okay, our last word. It's fine. How do you spell the word fine? Stretch the sounds, listen for that long sound, or see if it has a short sound. Fine. Okay, let's check your spelling. Fine has the sounds I, N. That follows our pattern. There's a long I sound followed by the consonant N sound. So I know it's going to be vowel consonant E to spell it. The first sound is spelled with an F. The next sound is I, spelled with an I, long I sound. The next sound is N, spelled with an N. It has a silent E at the end because that makes the I have the long vowel sound. Whew, is your brain tired yet? This would be another one of those times that if you would like to take a quick break, you could take a quick break. You could come back later today. Maybe you want to come back tomorrow. The next thing we're going to do is read a story. So if you want to do that at another time, you may. Or if you want to come back with me and finish the story right now, that's okay too. If you're ready to read the story that we're going to read today is The Nice Mice. Notice right away that we have the vowel consonant E, vowel consonant E. So that I is going to be the long I sound, and those E's don't make any sounds at all. Right away when I read my story, I start to skim and look for our pattern. I see that right here there's a vowel consonant E, a vowel consonant E, vowel consonant E, vowel consonant E, vowel consonant E. There's a lot of them. I consonant E, I consonant E. Oh, this is another one of those really tricky ones. Do you remember how we said sometimes that they put that D or the S or the ing? If you kind of ignore that for a second, look, I'm going to cover it up. I can see I have the I consonant E right next to it, so be careful with that one. And this one also has I consonant E. All of those are going to have the long I, 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 I. Listen and read along with me in your head as I read out loud. Mike and Spike were quite nice mice. They were always side by side. They liked to smile. Okay, let's read it together. Ready? Begin. Mike and Spike were quite nice mice. They were always side by side. They liked to smile. Nice reading. Let's keep reading together. Ready? Begin. Mike asked Spike to take a trip. He wanted to go to nice sights and he wanted to dine in fine places. Did you notice this one didn't have the E, so we had to do the short I sound here. But dine and fine, those did have the E, so that was the long I sound. Let's read one more page together. Ready? Begin. Mike said, "We will ride bikes on the trip. We must find time to make money for our trip." Nice reading. I'm going to go ahead and let you finish the story on your own. Watch very carefully for when you find our pattern with that vowel consonant E, so you know when it has the long I sound. And don't be tricked by words that have an S, an ED, or an ING at the end if they still have that pattern of vowel consonant E. Now, as you're reading by yourself, I'm going to go ahead and put each page on the screen for just a couple of seconds. You may want to pause the video so you have enough time to read all the words, and then when you're ready for the next page, just go ahead and hit play, and then I'll move on to the next page. Thanks so much for working on me and that long I, silent E pattern, because when we have an I, consonant E, we have that long I sound. Go ahead and finish reading the story on your own.